Dear students, I welcome on behalf of Amity Institute of Organic Agriculture. Today we will study about legs of insects, their function and their modifications. In earlier practical classes, we studied about mouth parts of insects, antenna of insects, and in today's classes we will discuss the structure of legs of insects, what are their different parts and what are their functions and what are the modifications taking place in the insect body. First, I will also, you can watch the video, then I will discuss about that.
Hello and welcome to my class. In this video, I am going to talk about structure, modifications and functions of insect legs. Almost all nymphal and adult insects have three pairs of legs. These legs are thoracic, that is, they originate from the thorax, and they're segmented, which means they're made of multiple segments. Insect's thorax is made of three segments, the prothorax, mesothorax and metathorax. And from each of these segments, one pair of legs come out. The first pair is called the forelegs, the middle pair is called the midlegs, and the last pair is called the hind legs. In this cartoon, you can see only one leg per segment, but if you see from the other side, then you would see three more legs. In this picture of the mosquito, all three pairs of legs are very clearly visible. Insects have possessed this design since their origin, as evidenced from fossil records. Insects have two types of locomotory organs, wings for flying and legs for walking. Typically, the legs are used for walking as well as for landing from a flight or to take off. However, various other functions and associated modifications are found in different insects. But first, let's talk about the structure of insect legs. We all have seen a running cockroach, but have you ever looked at its legs carefully? I suggest next time you kill a cockroach, you pick it up and look at its legs. You will see that the legs may vary in length, that is, the prolegs would be shortest in length and the hind legs would be the longest in length, but they would all have the same basic structure. Each of these legs are made of 6 segments or podites. The first segment or podite is called the coxa. Coxa helps the leg attach to the thorax. This elbow-like neck segment is called the trochanter. The third segment is femur, fourth tibia, and the fifth segment is tarsus, and the sixth segment is pretarsus. The tarsus and pretarsus are the two segments which rest on the surface when the insect is walking, running, or sitting. So let's look at this part more carefully. The most distal segment is the pretarsus. The pretarsus has a median lobe called the arulium, which has in its ventral surface aruliar pads and a pair of very sharp claws. These claws and the aruliar pad help in adhesion to the ground, but that's not enough. The tarsus also helps in adhesion to the ground. The tarsus is further divided into tarsomeres. A single muscle called the tarsal muscle runs along the tarsomeres, and that's why they are together called the tarsus. Now, the underside of the tarsomeres may have ventral pads known as pulvilli or euplatuli. These pads help in adhesion to surface. The surface of each pad can either be setose or hairy like in flies, or it can be smooth like in beetles. If we look at an electron micrograph of the tarsomeres, then we can see pairs of euplantulae under each tarsomere. We can also see the Arulia and the claws here. Some scientists have shown that functionally different pads can be present in the same foot in some insects for friction and for adhesion. Now I want you to look at this video. Here I am showing the Tribolium castaneum, the flower beetle walking on flower. Here, although it has wings, it is not flying, it is using legs as the main locomotory organ, and it uses these legs for walking through the flower. Here is a video of an aquatic beetle. This aquatic beetle has the two hind legs extended in the lateral sides almost at 90 degrees to the body. These legs help this beetle in swimming. Here you can see a very interesting bubble, and I'm going to talk about this bubble in my video on respiration. Now, the legs in insects can have many different forms. Some legs are used for walking or running. Some legs are used for jumping, some for swimming, some for digging, some for capturing prey, some for clinging to the surface, some for foraging, some for making sound. But all these types of legs, all these functionally different types of legs have the same basic structure. All legs are made of the 6 podides, that is Coxa, Trochanter, Femur, Tibia, Tarsus, and Pretarsus. Now, based on what kind of functional activity those legs have, one or more parts can be modified, can be more developed, but you would find all these 6 parts in all legs. Now, let's talk about different types of insect legs and their functions. The first type I'm going to talk about is the cursorial legs. Cursorial means adaptation to running or walking very fast. Cursorial legs are seen in insects like cockroaches. Cockroaches have wings, they can fly, but their main mode of locomotion is walking very fast. So their legs are suited for walking. In these legs, you would find that the femur and tibia are well developed and very muscular, and these kind of tibia and femur help them in walking very fast. Saltatorial legs. Saltatorial means adaptation to jumping. Crickets, grasshoppers, katydids, these kind of orthopteran insects use jumping as the main mode of locomotion. So to jump, they need to take off very fast, right? So for that, their hind legs are very muscular and elongated, and they can base their body's weight on these legs and take off very easily. The next type of legs I'm going to talk about is natatorial legs. Natatorial means adaptation to swimming. I showed you the video in a previous slide. So these legs are often flattened or broad and fringed with dense hair, which increase the surface area and also helps in cut the drag, and they facilitate movement in water. For example, aquatic beetles, diving beetles, they all have natatorial legs. Next type is the Fosorial legs. Fosorial means adaptation to digging. There are many insects who live underground. They are known as subterranean insects. Now, if you are living underground, then you need some apparatus to dig the soil. Mole crickets have specific types of forelegs which help them in digging. You can see here that their coxa, femur, tibia all are broadened and they are very muscular. And At the end of the tarsus, they have very sharp claws. Now, these muscular forelegs, along with these sharp claws, help them in digging soil and making the burrow to go under surface. Next type I'm going to talk about is the raptorial legs. These type of legs are found in all Mantoidea family or superfamily, which includes the praying mantids. Please notice their forelegs. These forelegs are modified for capturing and holding prey. They have very powerful muscles, and here the femur is greatly enlarged and grooved ventrally, and the tibia is curved and blade-like. So together, this femur and tibia help in grasping the prey as well as holding the prey while the mouth parts are at their work. Next type I'm going to talk about is scansorial legs. Scansorial means adaptation to climbing. For climbing, any animal would need to cling onto the surface because it's defying gravity when climbing. So these kind of clinging legs are found in external parasites like lice. Now, all lice have these clinging type of legs or scansorial legs. You can see that a padded projection is present at the distal end of the tibia, and the pretarsus is modified into a claw-shaped structure. So together they work like a peg and they can hold onto the surface. All legs have these kind of structures, but in the foreleg you can see these modifications in great detail. Next type I'm going to talk about is forageal legs. Honeybees and all other types of bees are very well known for their foraging habits. Honeybees, for example, need to collect nectar and pollen from flowers, and they have to carry that home. Now, nectar is liquid. It can be sucked up by the mouthparts and can be stored in the crop. But pollen cannot be eaten up like that. So what they do is they store the pollen into their hind legs. So their hind legs are modified in such a way that it can carry a big load of pollen. So the hind tibia is modified into a pollen basket. Okay, so it's very hairy in structure, and here the honeybee can show off pollen. And these legs also have combs that help in collecting or removing pollen from the body. Now, next type is stridulatory legs. Stridulation means making sound. Stridulatory legs make a creaking or grating sound by rubbing two rough surfaces against each other. These femurs in this cricket, you can see, they have a row of small pegs on the inner surface, and these pegs are rubbed against each other, and that makes the grating or creaking sound. Usually, male crickets make the sound, which is also known as the cricket song, to attract mate. The females perceive that sound and they are attracted to the sound making males. Now, if the male is making the sound, the female has to perceive that sound. And how do they do that? For that, they have the auditory legs. Auditory legs are present in sound-producing insects like crickets. The tibia of the foreleg has a tympanal organ that vibrates by sound waves and helps the insect perceive the sound. Now I'm going to talk about a very different type of leg. These are the prolegs found in Lepidopteran larvae or caterpillars. Lepidopteran caterpillars have three pairs of thoracic legs as seen here, and these legs are segmented and they are known as the true legs. But if you have seen a crawling caterpillar, you must have seen that they not only have these three pairs of thoracic legs, but they seem to have legs in their abdomen too. So these abdominal segments have small fleshy non-jointed substructures present on their ventral surface, and these help in crawling. But because they do not originate from thorax and because they are not segmented, we do not give them the status of true legs. These legs are called the pseudo legs or the prolegs. All the information in this video are collected from these books, and
So in video we watched different types of legs and modifications of legs, and the summary, I can also mention the summary in the following slides. Let us watch the slide. This is the typical structure of insect leg, a cup-like structure on the ventral side of insect abdomen. The prothorax, mesothorax and metathorax. In the thoracic side, there is the three pair of legs are attached to the insect, and the attaching point is coxa. Coxa is a cup-like structure attached to the thorax. And then the second part is trochanter. Trochanter is very important part of a leg which control the movement of the whole leg. This can transmit mechanical neurons. They help in the movement of the femur, tibia for locomotion. So coxa is a small joint between the trochanter is a small joint between coxa and femur. This is the second part of the body segment. The third one is femur, which is the longest and the shortest, means a strong and thick structure. The fourth one is tibia, which is longer and slender, thin in size, and there are spines like a structure on the tibia. And the fifth and sixth are tarsus and pretarsus. You can see 5 different segments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 segments constitute the tarsus. Like the first one is called bassus tarsus, and the second, third, fourth, fifth are called transomer. So now we study one by one. Coxa. You can see a cup-like structure. It is the first part or first segment of the insect leg. It looks like a cup-like structure attached to the thorax. It is movable. It can freely move. So the whole legs is movable with the help of coxa. The second segment of leg is known as trochanter. It is a small, single segmented. Sometimes it appears as 2 parts in some different orders, like in dragonfly, in damselfly. It appears that it is divided into 2 parts. So this is also important organ which control the movement of other parts, which also provide the speed of the movement of the other parts of the leg. Femur. Femora is the plural word and femur is a singular word. It is the largest and strongest, shortest part of the body, part of the leg. and it is closely attached to trochanter. Tibia. Tibia is long, elongated, thin structure. There are many spines coming out of tibia. You can see different spines are there on the tibia. These spines helps in cleaning the body part or catching the host or food materials. They have role in collecting pollen grains as well as cleaning the body part. Tarsus. You have seen tarsus and pretarsus. There are 5 structures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first structure of tarsus is called basal tarsus and the other 4 is transomeres. These are different jointed structure of tarsus. In the last, that is pretarsus, there are a strong claw-like structure which catches the ground firmly. So tarsus and pretarsus, both body parts, touches the ground of the surface of this leg. The part of the leg which touch the ground is called tarsus and pretarsus. Pretarsus is very important and last structure. It is a digital structure. It has further several structures divided into many parts. You can see it is called pretarsus. They are segmented in different parts. They have a strong claw. You can see the claws. This is claw. You can see these are pair of claw in left side and right side, and between the two claw there is pad like a structure. Pad, that is called aeroleum, which is important structure. It helps in movement of the leg. It helps in catching the surface of the host. Insect catches the surface with the help of aeroleum. It can stick to the surface. A well developed structure, a digital structure is there, and many small structures are there in pretarsus. So the pad between the two claws are known as aeroleum, and there are also other smaller pads at the base are called pulvili. Pulvillus is singular and pulvili is plural. You can see the pulvili in this structure. This is called pulvili. In different insects, they have different structure. So pulvillus are singular and pulvili are plural. They are a sticking type of a structure. They can catch the host. They can catch the surface with the help of their pulvillus structure. And the other joints are called tarsomere. Tarsomere, different segments are known as tarsomere. So legs are very useful for walking on a smooth surface. Their claw gives, they provide grip, they catches the surface. Any smooth surface, they can catch the surface with the help of their claw. And aeroleum, these are pads. Aeroleum and pulvillus stick to the surface and catch the surface for walking purpose. So we came to know the different structures. The first is Coxa, the second is Trochanter. They are neuronal parts. The neurons are present everywhere. Femur is the strongest and thickest structure. Tibia is longer and slender structure. Tarsus and pretarsus, they are hairy. There are hair-like structure in tibia, tarsus and pretarsus. These hair-like structure help the insect to collect pollen grains and to clear the body part, to clean the body part as well. They act like brush. They do brushing their body to clean their body. And these Arulium and Pelvic are a structure which helps in movement. Whether the surface is smooth or rough, they help in movement of the insects. Now modification of insects. Fosorial type. Fosorial means digging. They have well developed several claws. You can see the claws. They can dig the soil. They can make a burrow inside the soil. So they are called digging type of legs. Their tibia, tarsus and pretarsus are modified into claw. Several claws, and they dig the soil. The examples are cricket, Crylotalpa, dung beetles. These are the examples in which the tibia, tarsomere are bearing lobes which are used in digging. The second is Cursorial type. Cursorial means walking type. You can see that femur and tibia are longer in size. Although they have all 6 parts, but 5 segmented are tarsus. Both femur and tibia bear spines. You can see the spines. They help in walking like cockroach. The example is cockroach. The zoological name of cockroach is Periplanta americana. Periplanta americana is the zoological name of cockroach. So they have spines on their femur and tibia, and they help in the walking. Number 3 is Saltatorial or jumping type of insects. In jumping, you can see, you have seen grasshopper. They are very fast. They are very fast in jumping, and especially the hind leg. In the hind leg, they are very strong femur, strong and long, thick, and the tibia is also long and slender, very long in size. These two are well developed for kicking off. They can kick off, they can jump to a very high position very quickly. The power of jumping is provided by the extension of the hind tibia. This is the hind tibia. They are extended and they provide the power of jumping like grasshopper. The another is modification of insect leg is grasping or Raptorial. You can see Coxa is long. Coxa is long here. Femur and tibia bear rows of spines. Femur and tibia have spines. They are prey. They can catch their prey. For example, mantis, religiosa, a scorpion. They have Reptorial or grasping type of legs. Means they can catch their prey. Preying type of legs. They can catch with the help of the structure of their tibia and femur. They have groove-like structure, and between these grooves they can catch other animals. They can catch their prey. Natatorial or swimming type. They have hairy structure, hair-like structure in the tarsus. You can see this hair-like structure help in swimming of the insects. Therefore, they are called natatorial type of insects. Then a scansorial type of insect means clinging type. You can see they have clinging type of structure. They have claw and they have a space to catch the host. They can climb to higher altitude, to higher elevation, and they have powerful claw for clinging. 4 legs of body, louse, Hematopinus sinuous. They can climb. A scorpion, they can also climb. The 7th is pollen carrying type, polleniferous legs. The best example is honeybee. Honeybee have pollen type of structure, hair-like structure on their femur, tibia and tarsus. Several thread-like structure are there, and there are also, you can see this gap. This gap is called pollen basket. Where many pollens are collected, they can bring pollen from different locations, and these species are called pollen baskets, and the hairs help the honeybee to collect their pollen baskets. The example is Apis mellifera or honeybees. You can see the photographs. Walking type is also called ambulatorial. Ambulance like legs are there. These are modified in ambulance type. You can see. Cursorial means running type. In running type, they have long femur and tibia, and with their spines. These are longer and they can more suited for running. The femur is swollen, femur is thick and swollen, and they help in running. They are strong and they help in running. Saltatorial, Saltatorial or jumping type. You can see this is a grasshopper, hind leg of grasshopper. You can see a strong femur, a strong and thick femur, and tibia long and elongated. That they help in jumping. The long tibia and extension of tibia, they help the body to jump. Fosorial means digging type. They have several claws. You can see the claw and other structure which they can also make a hole in the soil. These structures make hole in the soil, so they are called digging type of insects or fosorial type of insects. You can see the example is mole cricket. Their legs are modified and transformed into making a hole like a structure. Reptorial. Reptorial means predatory. They can catch their prey. They can catch their food items. So they are called raptorial or predatory type of legs. They catch their enemy between their leg parts, between their femur and tibia. They have a spines and they can catch between the femur and tibia any prey coming are catched inside, trapped. They are trapped inside the tibia and femur. Meditatorial means swimming type, hair-like structure. These are all hairy structure. Tarsus is hairy, tibia is also hairy, and they help in swimming. The example is water beetle. a sticking type of legs like housefly. Pollen type of legs already discussed. For honeybee, they have pollen baskets, they have thread-like structure on tarsus and tibia, and they help in collecting pollens, they help in cleaning the body parts, so they have multiple roles as well. You can see the thread-like structures, and this area is called, this basket is called pollen basket, where pollens are collected. Here is a gap and the pollens are collected in this basket. It is called pollen basket. Tarsus. In the pretarsus, they are made up of 5 segmented body. Tarsus, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 segmented structure in pretarsus. The first is longer, it is called tarsus, and others are transomeres. Different segmented tarsus are called transomeres. So you learned different names like ambulatorial means walking, cursorial means running, saltatorial means jumping, scansorial means clinging or climbing, Fosorial means digging, making hole in the soil, Reptorial means preying or trapping their enemies or prey, Meditatorial means swimming, sticking means touching or adhesive, due to adhesive forces. They have different pads like Arulia and others. They help the insect to stick into the surface, stick onto the surface. Basket-like legs. We have seen the legs of dragonfly and damselfly. They have baskets and they collect different materials in the basket. Fosorial means pollen collecting type of legs are called foraging type of legs. Now we are open for discussion. Thank you.